I am now going to give you an overview of Surpass, which is our online assessment platform. To gain approval for online assessment, you will need to fill in the online approval form via the website. Once we receive the form, we will set you up on the system, and also we will create a user, and they will be the main user, and they will be able to add other users within the centre. To access Surpass, you would just need to use the URL ncfa.surpass.com. There's also links to Surpass through the website and also through the portal. So once you do have your username and password, you can log in from this screen. If you forget your password at any point, you can also reset your password by clicking Can't access your account. So once you log in, the first page you will see is the home page. The home page is where we'll put messages and any updates or important information, so it is worth having a check when you do log into Surpass. I'm now going to go through the test administration screen, and first of all we will go through schedule and how to schedule assessments. So to start scheduling assessment, you would click Schedule Test at the bottom. You will choose your centre. Only your centre will appear in this list. You will choose the subject. Any subject that you have approval for which you are able to sit via online assessment will show in this list. Select the assessment you want to book. You will then be able to book between a practice exam, and for English you can then book reading or writing. Make sure you are booking the correct exam at this point. You can now set the day and time. You can set this for a one-day assessment by clicking the calendar and selecting the day that you wish to book for. However, we do recommend opening a multiple day test, and you can do that by clicking this button. This will allow you to open up the window, and this does give you 6 weeks to book the assessment. So for example, I've booked this assessment from today until the 11th of April, and that means the learner can sit the assessment anytime within this window. In regards to the time, we do advise just to leave this as 24 hours, which means the learner can start the assessment at any point. If you do set a time, please be aware that the learner will not be able to start until the time that you've set, and that will be the same for each day of the window that you book. You will now get a list of your learners. So you can search for your learner by last name and also candidate ref. Candidate ref is the learner number that you will get when you register your learners in the portal. Once you register your learners in the portal, this data will transfer over to Surpass, so your learner will appear in this list. For that data transfer to go through, it takes around 10 minutes, so your learner should appear in here 10 minutes after registering. If your learner does not appear, I would advise to make sure that they have been registered in the portal, and also make sure they have registered on the correct qualification. You can book one learner or multiple at this point by just selecting the box next to their name. Click Next. If you want to add extra security onto the assessment, you can do by selecting this Schedule for Invigilate button. If this is ticked, it will lock the assessment, and the assessment will need to be unlocked before the learner can start. The assessment would have to be unlocked in the Invigilate screen by an invigilator on the day of the assessment. You can also set a PIN if this option is ticked, and the PIN can also be removed if needed. We do advise to not select this because it can cause problems for the invigilator on the day, but the option is available if required. Click Next. This will now just confirm what you are booking, so it will give you the date, time, the subject, and which learners. You can go back at any point, and you can cancel the booking if needed. At this point, you can also add additional time for your learners by clicking on the particular learner you require, and then click Modify Duration. You can then increase the duration by the extra time that the learner requires. So for example, I put 25% extra in here. You then need to put a reason to why the learner has had the additional time. Click OK. As you see, this has now added the additional time here for the learner, and this will be applied to the assessment. Please note that any reasonable adjustments, including extra time, also needs to be added to the learner in the portal as well. Once you've done that, you just click Schedule Test, and that will book the assessment for you. The schedule screen is where you schedule tests and also will show any tests that are due to begin in the future. If you do have an assessment that is due to begin in the future, the test can be edited and you can change the date and time. If the assessment is locked, which means that you have booked it for today onwards, it will then appear straight in the Invigilate screen, which I will show you now. So the Invigilate screen shows any assessments that are ready and are due to start. I will just go through a few different states that you may see your assessments. So the R for ready means the assessment is ready to begin. And if you do hover over each state, it does give you a little reason to what that state is to give you an idea. A green tick means the exam is finished and uploaded. This one here with the red circle means that the exam is disconnected, so it could be issues in the assessment or the internet has dropped. Also a red cross, which means that the assessment has been voided. There are a few other states that you may see, such as await an upload, and this means that you have downloaded the assessment and it needs to be re-uploaded. There's a full explanation of these states and what they mean in our user guide that you can refer to. I'll just go through some of the columns that are in the Invigilate screen. So there are columns just confirming what you've booked, so the test name, centre name, subject, start date, end date, start time and end time. So if you need to check anything you've booked, you can do that in here. Also, each of these columns do have filters on, and you can also search into them as well. The key code is what the learner will need to enter the assessment, and you can also print this out on an invigilation pack, which I'll show you in a moment. You can search for your learner by using the candidate and searching. You can also search candidate reference, which is the learner number that you will get when you register your learner. The invigilated column confirms whether you've chosen that extra security option. If that was to say yes, that means that you have ticked that when you have scheduled your assessment. The duration will confirm the time the learner has for the assessment and if any additional time has been added. If you haven't added the extra time during scheduling, that can be done in this screen. You would just select the learner that you need and click Modify Duration, and then again you can set the additional time in here, given a reason. Then click OK, and that additional time will show in the duration column. A few other things that I will show you at the bottom of this screen. So if you did set that invigilate option that I've spoke about, you can set a pin from here and also remove a pin. You can unlock the assessment if it's locked for invigilate. The assessment can also be paused if the assessment is live and is sat online. So if there was any issues during the assessment, you could pause it, and this can also be resumed. You can also print the invigilation pack from here, which I'll show you now. The invigilation pack will show an attendance register, an invigilation report, and also a key code slip that you are able to print out. So next I will show you the results screen. Once your result is due after the 6 working days, the result will show in the results screen here. We do advise that any result slips are downloaded and printed from the portal if required. However, you are able to see a learner feedback report in the screen. So for example, you would just click the learner that you want to look at, and then you would click Candidate Report. This will then give you a report showing you the different learning outcomes in the assessment and how the learner has scored against those as a percentage. This can help to show you where learners may need additional support and learning. I will now go through the setup screen. The subjects will just be a list of subjects that you have approval for. The candidate screen shows all of the learners that you have available in Surpass. Like I say, this data is transferred from the portal. And like I say, if you cannot find your learner, please contact customer support, but you can search for them in here to double check as well. The Users tab shows the different users that are set up within your centre. The main user that we set up initially will be able to add other users by clicking Create User, click Centre, Continue. It will fill in the details, first name, surname, username, email address, job title, click Continue. You would then click Manage Centres, select your centre, move it across, click Confirm, and then that will give you a list of the different roles and permissions that you can give to your users. So you've got your setup screen and the test administration screen. So depending on what roles you want your users to have, so for example, you could have an invigilator, you can give them invigilator only. And then once you click Create User, that will send an email to the user and it will give them instructions of how to get logged in and set up their password. There is a full list of explanation on the roles within the online assessment user guide, so I would refer to that if you've got any further queries. I'm now just going to go through Secure Client, which is where the learner will take the assessment. To download Secure Client, if you go to the home page and click Deliver Test, and then click Secure Delivery, and then you can download for Windows. What this will do is this will download and install Secure Client onto your device, and this is installed directly to the device, and you will get a desktop icon called Secure Client, which you can then launch and put the key code in, and that will start the assessment. You can also download the assessment from Secure Client. So you would put the key code in and click a button to say download assessment, and you would then able to set the assessment offline. If you have any questions about online assessment or Secure Client or installation, we do have user guides on our website, which go step by step into the installation and also everything that I've just advised on this webinar. And also you can contact our customer support team if you have any issues or any further questions. Thank you.